So, about 2 days ago, someone tried to shoot Donald Trump, causing 3 people to be injured and 1 person to be killed. And that is all I'm going to say about the attack itself, because what I actually want to talk about is how bad some people's reaction to the attack has been. So, to state the obvious, of course there have been a bunch of idiots on the right speculating that the attacker must have been a radical leftist or part of the deep state or whatever. But I don't expect better behavior than that from the right. They act like that all the time. What is more disappointing is how a lot of people on the left also dove right into conspiracism. The most common conspiracy on the left is, of course, some flavor of the attack being staged to make Trump look good. And my take on that is that that's honestly a very childish level of analysis. I think this conspiracy is based on 2 things. One being that security could screw up that bad, and yes, slip-ups and general incompetence happens. They're a thing. And 2, and this is the more interesting one I think some people despise Trump so much that they don't want to accept that something tragic could happen to him or his supporters, so instead they fabricate a situation in which this tragic situation is just more fuel to hate him. That's why I call it immature. Something tragic happening to Trump doesn't make him any less worthy of resentment. The assassination attempt on him is antithetical to democracy, but that doesn't make Trump himself less of a threat to democracy. I think some people make their hatred of Trump too personal, and what I mean by that is, even if Trump was a super likable person, a version of Trump that wasn't a friend of Epstein's, for example, he would still deserve our resentment, because our vitriol towards Trump should not be a personal one, at least not to any significant degree. It should be based on the harm his politics have done and will do. The audience and Trump himself in this specific situation is worthy of sympathy, and I honestly think some people are so invested in hating everything always about Trump that they need to fabricate a situation in which Trump deserves no sympathy, and actually this is just a horrible situation that allows you to hate him even more. An unwillingness to just put our hands up and say that this entire situation is really fucked up and tragic makes us look completely psychotic, especially when, remember, an innocent bystander died. This attack was a tragedy, and it doesn't change the resentment we should hold for Trump one bit. We all know that the right has a propensity for conspiracism, but the left should do better. In this situation, in future situations, we have to be willing to wait for more information before we start speculating, and we can't resort to conspiracy for our own convenience or because a situation happens to make our opponents look good. I think that most people have handled the news responsibly. It's just that a lot of the dumbest people are the loudest voices as usual. However, this entire situation is really worrying, since it is likely to make polarization even worse, and it will give fuel to some of the worst and most dangerous elements of the American right. So I hope that everyone stays safe out there, because this is serious cause for concern.